In today's episode, we're going to talk about the detrimental mistakes that you, amazing yet fatigued women, are making that is impeding your success. And we're going to look at turning that around. Welcome to the Less is More for Leaders podcast, the ultimate guide for leaders who want to achieve more by doing less. I'm Louise Ledbrook, a high-performance productivity coach and business leader with over 20 years experience. Get ready for a life-changing ride as my guests and I explore how you can create space in your life to focus on what truly matters, both in business and in your personal life. We'll be sharing simple yet powerful strategies and stories of success, so get ready to unleash your full potential. These are things that you can take control of today, right? And by doing that, you can change the trajectory of your life, of your family's life, of your business's life, and your well-being and your joy, more importantly. Yeah. So we want to get that burden of that fatigue off your back. We want to help you climb out of that pit of despair and back to a life of joy and vibrancy. Okay. So if you're feeling like you're constantly tired, everything feels just chaotic, you're feeling super overwhelmed, then this is the place for you to be today. Now, I have been there. I'm not telling you this because something I've read or something I've heard. I'm talking from experience here. Yeah. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome when I was 18. I've had it well before then, but that's when I got diagnosed. And I'm a little bit older than that now. So shall we say over 20 years, well over 20 years. Yeah, it's been a while. I have been learning and strategizing and implementing different strategies and techniques into my life to help me be successful. I run 2 businesses and have a family and a household and all of those different things. Yet I thrive every day now. I no longer am chronically fatigued, but it takes work to be in this place, right? It takes knowing what to look for. It takes doing the right things. And so I no longer feel like I'm constantly tired, chaotic, and overwhelmed. Yeah. I know what it was like. I felt like I was missing out, right? It felt like, how am I ever going to reach my dreams? How is it possible I'm ever going to reach my dreams when I'm just trying to push through the tiredness every day? Yeah. So I know what that feels like. Yeah. And the worst thing is just not knowing where to start. The worst thing is not knowing that there is a possibility that you can be free from this. Yeah. I was a very determined person, and there was no way I was letting this thing beat me. I was going to try everything. I tried all of the experimental things that were available. I did everything, and I learned a lot. Yeah. And so I know I've used the word mistakes here, but really it is a lack of knowing. It's just, it's a matter of sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And also, when you're caught up in that state, right? When you're on the chaos roller coaster, it's really hard to see the things around you, to get the perspective that you need to step back, which I have the beauty of being able to do that for you, and see what is it that you could be changing and shifting that can help shift the trajectory of your life. Yeah. And so this is not about blame. This is not about telling you that you've been doing it all wrong and making all these mistakes. That's not what it is. I know I use the word mistakes, but this is about helping you identify the things that you could change. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, it takes being a little bit brave to make these changes. It takes being a little bit brave, and you'll know a little bit more once I start talking about the different points, because it often will take going against the grain to make the shift that you need for your life. Yeah. So let's talk about what they are. Yeah. The first thing I want to talk about is that you possibly are not getting any, or you're getting the wrong or limited advice for your situation and the things that you need. So I, over my 20 plus years of dealing with chronic fatigue syndrome and health issues before that, have had a plethora of practitioners and professionals help me on my journey. Yeah, from doctors, specialists, naturopaths, acupuncturists, massage therapists, osteos, physios, dietitians, coaches, you name it. I've done it. I've been there. I've tried it, and I've worked with them all so that I can gather the information and understand what it is that I need for all of the different things going on for me and the different stages of my journey and the different stages of my life. Yeah. And so if you aren't getting any advice and you're still in that state of tiredness, fatigue, chaos, and overwhelm, then might be time for you to start looking for the right advice. And when I say you're getting the wrong or limited, often one of the first places we go to is our GP. Yeah. And they're a general practitioner, right? They're generalized. And often where you need to go from your GP is to somebody that's specialized. Yeah. You're a female, you're fatigued. If you're a leader as well, if you're a mother or, having to care for other family members, as an example, that's a very specific situation that you're in. And it requires people that understand that situation and that can help you navigate it and your specific needs at that time. So my needs today are not the same as they were when I was first diagnosed, not even in the slightest. Okay. So what I needed then is not what I need now, but I still need ongoing advice and attention and support and fixing and tweaking. So I want you to make sure that you are reaching out and getting the right advice. Now, if you've been working with a practitioner for a while and you're not getting traction, it's time to find somebody that specializes. Are you working with that specializes in females, fatigue, chronic in some cases? Has it been chronic fatigue? And so it's very different. Yeah, because chronic means you've had it for a long time. It takes a long time to then get back to normal. So you can't go to someone and they're like, and let me tell you, I know what it's like when you get a solution and you have like this burst of energy and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But you need to be able to maintain that. So you need the right guidance for long-term strategies. Yeah. And so one of the things I do with my clients is I help them navigate all of those possible things, right? So I'm only one of many possible professionals that you might need in your life. But what I can do is holistically look at everything that's going on and go, all right, so have you got this? Have you got advice on this? Do you know this? And then how do we make sure we fit that into your life and your day and your business? Yeah. So get the right advice. Get some advice if you haven't got any. And the next thing is we're not very good at prioritizing sleep, but also rest and filling our cup. Yeah. So let's start with the sleep thing. So there for a long time, if you're a business leader in the corporate world and in the entrepreneurial world, hustle culture is a thing. Yeah. Only sleep 4 hours a night, work all day, blah, 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 get as much as you can in the day. Yeah, well, studies show that makes us actually unproductive. We actually need sleep. It's very important for learning, memory creation, healing, our longevity, basically. We know that if you don't get sleep, after a period of time, you die, right? It's the same. You need sleep as much as you need food and water. And so getting the right amount of sleep is really important. Getting good quality sleep is important. So you need to focus on getting that, but also rest and replenishment. Okay, so this sleep, rest, replenishment, I'm putting in the same bucket, but they're slightly different things. Rest and replenishment, so mental downtime. I need mental downtime every day. If I don't have it every day, and when I mean mental downtime, I mean from everything. Nobody talking to me, no kids asking me for things, no mum, no, can I do this? Where is this? Blah, blah, blah. Like a full mental downtime every day. Otherwise, I have like it builds, the chaos builds, and then I'm like all like uptight. Yeah. And so I know that for me. Have you thought about that? What do you need? What does it take for you to fill your cup? How often do you need that time? And sometimes I need like a big block, I need a whole week, a few days, things like that. So you need to start to learn that and give that to yourself. Yeah. Give yourself permission to give that rest and replenishment time to yourself. Now, this is a big one. The next one is that we do it all. We take it all on and we do it all. The cooking, the cleaning, the managing the house, the managing the business, the managing the team, managing our parents, managing our kids, looking after everything except for ourselves sometimes. But we're one person. And I know that there is this societal pressure and expectation that we've now taken on that we should be able to do it all. And you know, we can do a bloody lot. You're amazing and you can do a lot, but you shouldn't have to. Yeah. And so I want you to stop taking it all on. And this coincides with the next one, which is asking for help. Yeah. So help and not doing it all comes in different shapes and sizes, asking just the family for help. So I want you to stop those times where you're like stomping around the house with the washing basket and you're like putting the dishes away and you're folding the washing and everyone's relaxed on the couch watching Netflix and you're like, I've got to do all the things and you don't want to be a nagger. I know that feeling. I know it well. All right. So, when you've asked and then they do it once and then they might do it again, they might remember to do it again, but then it drops off. Yeah. And then you're back to doing it all again. You need to put strategies and systems, if you like, in place so that you don't have to keep asking. That's the trick, right? You need to put these different things in place so that it becomes a part of the way the house operates or the team operates so that you don't have to keep asking. Yeah. Another way that we do it all is we've delegated something to someone and then something comes back to us like, you're reviewing it, it's not quite what you want. So you go, I'll just fix it myself. And then that happens over and over and over. And then you're like, why am I employing this person? You start resenting them. You start resenting the fact that you have to keep doing the work, but you created that monster. Yeah. By doing it yourself and not training them and informing them properly about how it should be done. Yeah. Because they are disempowered in that instance and they start to feel shit because you're reworking their work. Yeah. So do yourself, all of you, a favor and give them feedback, constructive, right? And I don't care if it takes 5 times to give that feedback. You need to start working on it and going, okay, so I've given the feedback. Oh, it's slightly different, slight tweak this time. Oh, I thought of something else. Can you do this as well? It doesn't matter. It just builds on their knowledge. It builds on their experience. Yeah. And eventually they'll be fine. They'll be flying. Yeah. Again, I know this from experience in training hundreds of people. Yeah. So don't take it all on yourself. Don't just fix it yourself because it's easier, because in the long run, it is not easier. It is stressful and it makes you frustrated and it also takes up your time. Okay. So you need to find strategies and implement them in your life so that the things get consistently taken off your plate and you don't have to nag and keep asking about it. And it might be you pay for it, pay for a cleanup, pay for meal prep, whatever it happens to be. But it can also be getting the other people around you to take things on and share the load. Yeah. Now, the other thing is, as females, especially leaders, we feel like we have to take it all on, be everything, do everything, perform like a monkey to be respected, to be seen, to be noticed, to get the promotions, right? It's society, it's created this monster, and then we take on that expectation as well. I want you to start believing that you are free to be purely you, and that is enough. And the people that matter will see you and respect you. And you need to start putting your hand up and making yourself seen as well. Ask for the promotion. Tell them you want the promotion. Tell them how amazing you are. Yeah. Boys are really good at it. Like, oh, so good. Look at this thing I did today. They're much better at it. And then they create a bromance and they create a bro squad and they all support each other. Yeah, mate, you did a great job. Because that's just the society that we've been in for a while. So you need to start blowing your own trumpet, but also believing that it doesn't matter because you're enough and the things that you do are enough, and exude that confidence when you go into a meeting. Yeah. And when you go into that meeting, you're like, okay, I'm going to do only the things that are my responsibility to do and nothing more. Yeah. I know I can do all these other things that pop up in this meeting, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to take it on because I don't feel like I have to do everyone else's jobs to be noticed and seen. I'm going to be respected in my own field and in my own rights, and I'm not going to take on anything extra. Okay. I want you to start looking at where you're doing things like that, taking things on because you feel this pressure to be everything and do everything, and start backing away from it. Yeah. Now, the next thing is something I do every day, but I had to learn to do this and I had to know to do this, is listen to yourself, your body, your mind. it actually has all the answers. We just don't listen to it enough. And then sometimes we get a little niggle, and something kind of tells us that something's not right, but we don't do anything about it. We ignore it. Yeah. We hear it, but we ignore it and we don't do anything about it. So I want you to start listening to your body. What's that niggle mean? How do you feel this morning? Like if you have a really terrible night's sleep or multiple terrible nights sleep, but you wake up in the morning and you are exhausted and you're like, oh, today I plan to, record 4 podcasts and I've got 5 meetings and whatever else I have to do. And you go, can I really come at that today? Am I going to perform my best? And what's the impact of me not doing them today or doing them and doing them really shit? So substandard. And so what can I change today? Right. So listening to your body, checking in, and then doing something about it. Yeah. And that won't work every day. Some days you're like, okay, I'm going to have to push through. But the push through is really dangerous long term. And in some cases, depending where you're at on your well-being journey, it can be dangerous just that one day pushing too hard. It can set you back then a whole week. Push too hard today, whole week's wiped out. Yeah, just to get those couple of extra things in, you lost a whole week. Was it worth it? Not really. So you need to start listening to yourself and stop pushing those boundaries. Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention is this is really a mindset thing. And I see this a lot. I hear it a lot. I sit in forums of people who have different chronic illnesses and chronic fatigue, and I hear them talk and they just don't believe that it can be better. And I know for some of them, it's because they've been there for so long. But if you think about all the things I've talked about before, that's why they've been there for so long. They don't have the right advice. They don't have any advice. They're trying to still do it all themselves. They still have this psychological pressure on themselves that they should be doing something, and that drains their energy, right? And that means they're not healing and getting better. So you need to believe that this can be different and it doesn't have to be this way. This chaos, this fatigue, this tiredness, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm living proof of it, but I believed it from the beginning that I was not going to be this way forever. And I went 2 steps forward, 3 steps back over and over until I learned the strategies that I needed in place so that I could consistently have forward momentum. Yeah. It wasn't something I just knew how to do. I have learned all these things now, and now I can teach you. But, you have to believe it in the first place, because if you don't believe it, none of it will actually work for you. Yeah. So you need to believe it can be different. And I don't want you to start thinking, well, yes, that person's different. Of course it worked for them. Or look at them over there. They've got all this stuff. So of course it worked for them. Okay, but that's you not believing it can be for you as well. Yeah. I don't want you to look outside you. I want you to look inside you and believe. And then you will start to take control and you will start taking the right actions to get to where you need to be. Now, I've talked about a bunch of different things today. The worst thing you could do is go, I'm going to go now and implement something in all of these things that Louise has talked about. That really isn't going to help you either. So I want you to think about what really jumped out for you, what one thing really kind of hit the nail for you. And I want you to start considering how that could change for you. And if you're not sure, reach out to me and we'll talk about it together. Yeah. We'll go, all right, what's your top issue? How do we plan to get out of that? Or how do we plan to get through it, over it, past it, whatever it happens to be? Yeah. So one thing I want you to take out of today, because I talked about quite a few things. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you do more than that, you'll just be overwhelmed and you're right back where you started. Yeah. And creating more tiredness and fatigue. So this isn't about hustling. This is about stabilizing and consistency. Yeah. Sustainable forward momentum. So if you enjoyed today's episode, like, share, press the subscribe, all of those different things so you can hear more cool stuff. And if you want to spend some more time with me, join me in the Female Leaders Thriving with Chronic Fatigue Facebook group. We have trainings and downloads and all sorts of cool stuff in there. And I'd love to see you in there. And good luck on your success journey.